I'm being tortured every night. Somebody's torturing me, and all my electricity is off. Well, it was off. And this was live just now. There it is. This is a live wire. Okay. And this shouldn't be live. Okay. I know this because the electrician came and said, oh, that shouldn't be live. And he noticed it as well. And something keeps vibrating under my bed, and I still have to switch off the power when I go to sleep. And I'm very unhappy. I'm getting backache and neck ache, and I've got several plug sockets not working. I'm a targeted individual. I want to show you that this is all off. Okay. I have put mirrors up and everything to try and stop these guys. I've got shield up. Obviously that's going to come up as live, and so is that. But, you know, it's really going for it. You know, there's lots going on in this electricity box. I can feel like the whole house is vibrating. And it's not just my imagination. I'm not schizophrenic or crazy. Okay. I'm a targeted individual, and somebody's messing with my electrics. And I've got live electricity when I'm home trying to sleep. I'm switching off my electricity to get it off. Here. Let's see, there's another wire here. Is there another wire? That one is another wire, and that's off, you see. But this one is not off. It keeps coming up as live. And I'm going to be sending this to the electrician because I don't really feel comfortable with live electrics in the house. So I do fasting, and I switch off electrics to do my fasting. And I feel like there's electrical currents. I'm really affected by it running in my home. So I've tried shielding it because I'm affected by smart meters as well. So, but yeah. Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from godfm, and today I want to talk about live electricity through the earth wire that I have discovered is being used against targeted individuals. And I want to talk about this because it's dangerous. I think it's very dangerous. If you're a targeted individual, you'll be finding that you're being burned while you're sleeping. You'll have a bad back, bad neck, and your bed shakes, and it seems to be connected to the washing machine, the fridge, or whatever else is vibrating. I can actually identify the sounds, so it's usually the cooker, it's the hob, it's the fan above the cooker, it's the boiler, it's the fridge, it's the washing machine. It's also certain plug sockets, and several plug sockets I don't have the use of anymore. And I want to go through that as evidence today. Today is the 6th of April, 2026. This has been going on for three years now, with ongoing harassment, stalking, and torturing, hacking, home invasions, and no one will help. But there's something going on, and it's not in my imagination. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm quite intelligent, so I have bought some tools so that I can check things. Because if I think the electricity is running while I'm sleeping, something's running, I don't feel comfortable with that. And I do fasting as well to the Lord. And I like to switch off my electricity to be in harmony with the earth and with the Lord. And I don't like lots of currents running around me. I'm sensitive to smart meters, and I'm sensitive to LED lights. And I'm sensitive to Wi-Fi, and I'm also very sensitive to all sorts of different things. So I found since the new system was rolled out. But I believe that, electricity is dangerous. It's invisible, but we have got wireless electricity now as well. And if you put your fingers in a plug socket, you can't see the electricity, but it will send you across the room if it's live, and it will kill you. And what happens if you've got somebody messing with your electricity so that they've got control of one of the 2 earth wires coming into your house? Do you know how much power a earth wire contains coming into your home? It's enough power to power your whole home. The earth wire is what all of the drug people use to grow their marijuana. All they do is add on a red and black wire, positive and negative, because they've already got the earth wire. They put an adapter on, attach an extension lead, and hey presto, they're ready to go. They can power up a whole property growing the marijuana. And this is also how they get their free electricity, because they get it off the earth wire. How do I know that? Well, because I've had to study it. I've thought to myself, I'm very sensitive and I can feel electricity in my hands. And I can touch the wall and feel electricity in the wall. I can feel if there's live electricity. I can also see electricity. I can also see vibrations. I'm just funny like that. But I never used to be able to. But I think that if you overexert electricity upon somebody enough times, then they become very sensitive to it and they can feel it. And I think that's what's been happening to me. Now, the earth wire that I've just tested in my home, all the power was off. I have an electrical tester and I've tested these wires. One earth wire, no, nothing. Other earth wire, live. All electricity off. And I've been trying to sleep and something's been cooking my back and vibrating my bed. And it felt like there was a machine running under the bed or behind the bed. And I thought, well, I'm not imagining this. And there's nothing backing behind me. There's nothing below me. And there's nothing above me. So there shouldn't be anything running. I don't live in an industrial estate. And my bed shouldn't be shaking. And I'm not schizophrenic. And I'm not imagining it. So I thought, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm going to go and get the electrical tester. And I'm going to go and check what's running. Checked a couple of sockets, nothing obvious. But I could feel the hood, the hob vibrating. I thought, something's going on here. You're on. Maybe the cooker's on. So I thought, right, I'll go and check. And my electricity is off. All of the buttons are off. All the power's down. And this earth wire is live. I'm like, is it live? Wow, it's live. Now, I've had the electrician over before because I've had problems with sockets. And he also noticed and he went, oh, that's odd. And I went, what's odd? He said, oh, that was live and it shouldn't have been. And I went, oh, okay. I didn't say anything. But I thought to myself, I bet you they're running everything through the earth wire. But I forgot about it until now. And sure enough, it's live when the electric's off. This means that somebody's running electricity around my bed while I'm sleeping, and that's dangerous. Not only is it dangerous, I've actually, in my bedroom 2 days ago, I could smell burning wire, like plastic. And I thought, oh. Then it went away and I thought, oh no, it's just my imagination. I kept smelling it. And I thought, I don't know what that is. Checked all the plug sockets, couldn't see anything. Checked all the light fittings, couldn't see anything. But basically, I found that there's certain things that affect me. Lights affect me. Some lights give me headaches, and certain rooms as well. When I'm sitting on a couch in my lounge, I feel like my bum's being burnt. So then I've put the aviation blanket on, and the cooking stops. It's like, oh, that's nice. And so, and this is what I mean about getting things off and on. For me, I know how to do it, and I won't go to sleep until I can get the stuff off, because I don't want to be cooked while I'm sleeping. And so in the bed, I felt like the bottom of my back was being burnt. And under my mattress, I have another mattress, and it's covered in aviation foil as well. And and then I've got a duvet, and then I've got EMF fabric as well, because I'm sensitive to this stuff, right? So I'm thinking, but the bed's vibrating as well. And at the bottom of the bed, my feet are getting swollen, and they're getting really hot, and they've also like vibrating. And then behind the bed, I put my hand on the wall, and it's vibrating. And I'm like, oh, yeah, something's running. Let me move down the bed. I'll move down the bed, and the heat, the burning sensation moves accordingly to the new spot where I've put myself, right? If I lie on my front, then it's my leg that is being burnt. So there's definitely something, but I can't understand where it's coming from, because I've got aviation foil under the bed, mattress. I've got a duvet with EMF fabric on as well. I've also got shielding in the bathroom, but my electric box is under the bathroom. So I'm thinking, well, maybe there's something under there that's, affecting me. So it's got to the point where I have to start shielding myself from the floors in my home when I turn off the electricity, so I don't get cooked. And this doesn't make sense. And this isn't something I'm imagining, because I've got a film now of me videoing this live earth wire in my home. And this has happened to me before at my other house, because the electric box caught fire. Why did it catch fire? Because they were running so much stuff through an earth wire, and it caught fire because they're forcing electricity through the electrical box, which has not got the power on. And this is highly, highly dangerous. So, for example, I want to explain this. When you're changing a light bulb, you switch off the light, don't you? You don't change the light bulb while it's still on. The same with a plug socket fitted to the wall. You don't change a plug socket fitted to the wall if the power's on. So if I wanted to do something, like, for example, in my bedroom, I've got a radiator, and underneath the radiator is a plug socket, and that doesn't work anymore, but it did work, and there was a leaking radiator right there, virtually on top of the plug socket. And I thought, well, this is highly dangerous. So I covered it with a cover, and I don't use it, and now it doesn't work anyway because someone's taken it over. Then I have another plug socket by my bed, which used to work and suddenly mysteriously stopped working. I have another plug socket in the lounge on its own circuit board. It has its own trip switch, and that's also stopped working. My light in the kitchen has stopped working. I have a fan in the bathroom, and that also has stopped working. And when I'd go to sleep, I felt like the fan was on in the bathroom. And I was like, but the fan's not on. Anyway, now the fan doesn't work anyway. And I thought, well, this is strange. But when I first moved here, it was mainly a fan and a little bit of vibrating on the bed. But now it's a cooking, it's a washing machine, it's a vibrating bed. And we've got live earth wires when the electricity's off. So, for me, I don't understand why the police don't take me seriously. Because I think somebody who's being stalked and hacked and being watched by a highly organized criminal gang, having home invasions and having somebody messing with her electrics to torture her is not that unbelievable. And if she's got enough evidence, they should be looking to catch the bastards that are doing it. Yeah? My attitude is that the justice system just doesn't do its thing. And I want to talk about that. For a woman who lives on her own, me, I found it extremely frightening. Because I'll be lying in my bed and I can hear someone climbing on my roof. And there's a neighbor with a ladder on the wall. I've taken photographs of these, and I can also hear people coming in and out of the front entrance, and my gas meter is right there, but it's got 3 earth wires coming off it. And you know what I've told you about earth wires, right? And I'm like, and whenever I use the boiler, everything starts running. It's like they've hooked it all up to the earth wire. And so it has its own supply, but also water has an earth wire. So, maybe you're getting it now, my thinking. So, obviously they want to monitor what you're using. But with all this stuff going on, I get frightened in my home. I've had plug sockets explode and bang, and I've had light bulbs explode. And I think it's dangerous. And I think that there needs to be a division of the police that is involved with cybercrime and this kind of crime. And I've got quite a lot of evidence now for all the crimes that are being committed. And I feel like they want me to prove who's doing it and why in order for them to help me. I've actually become quite an expert on how these guys are doing it. And I think I have enough evidence to put these people away forever. But all my reports to the police fall on deaf ears because they've decided this is a cybercrime. And they've also decided that home invasions and cyber crimes are a hallucination and schizophrenia, which means then that the people doing it think it's really funny. And this also makes it even more dangerous because the gloves are off. And torturing somebody in their home is now an amusing, fun pastime for criminals and for dangerous people. I mean, very dangerous people that are breaking into your home, strangers coming in and out of your house. I mean, it is out of the pages of horror films. It really is. And I've got so much evidence, as I say. I'm tempted to sue the damn government and the police for not taking me seriously and for not investigating. Because I now want to know why I've got a live earth wire running in my home every time I'm being tortured, and why plug sockets have stopped working. I want to know why I've got a new wire coming into my bathroom under my wardrobe, which wasn't there before. I want to know why somebody's dug up my pipes under my bed and swapped them for plastic pipes. I'm not imagining it. I'm not schizophrenic. These things have happened to me. And I am frightened in my own home to go to sleep. And I don't like this. I think it is wrong that a person should be frightened to sleep in their own home. One, because the house might catch fire. My electric box caught fire at my old home. Still no one would do anything. And I've been drugged. I've been gassed. I've been poisoned. I've got home invasions. And I want to talk about how frustrating it is to have criminal activity like this conducted against you when you're a preacher of God and police won't take you seriously. And this is a religious crime. And it's against not just me, but all Christians in England. Whether you know it or not, things are being done to hack phones, to watch, stalk, terrorize everybody. At different levels, depending on whether you're talking about the truth or not. But I'm also frightened because I've got to barricade my door. When I go to sleep, I can't open my windows in case somebody breaks in. I've got to try and stop people from doing home invasions every day. And it is all day, every day, all night, every night. And it's such a committed gang of criminals that they've moved into the properties around me to ensure that they have a full-time approach to their criminal activity. And I just think it's terrible. I really do. Yes, I know it's Revelation, we're in the final times, but I want to talk about how frightening it is for a woman in her home when she can hear someone walking around her house and she's on her own. I want to talk about that because I think it's frightening, don't you? And if it happened to you and the police laughed at you and thought you were crazy and told you to go and have a head massage and called an ambulance, decided that you were crazy, how would you feel? Because I think it's terrible. I really do. And I'm actually going to do a course on electrics now. I'm a very clever person. I'm going to learn about electrics. And I'm going to catch these people. I'll become an electrician so that I can catch these people, not just for me, but for other targeted individuals. And I'll add that to my list of skills. That's the kind of person I am. And I'll do a bit of plumbing too, because these guys have really gone to town with plumbing and water. So I want to tell you about an experience that happened to me in my house. So one night, I have 2 strips of wood that I put in front of the door with a toolbox. And I thought, I'm sure people are still getting in here because I'd hear them wandering around. So I thought, if I take one of these strips and lean it up against the table, then that is like super strong. Basically, that's leaning up against the other piece of wood. And if you open the door, there's no way you can open the door. I thought, I'll try that. So I put this on. And I went upstairs. And I actually heard them trying to come in. I heard them. And I was like, Wow, that's so frightening. I've got no windows upstairs overlooking this area, so I couldn't look out the window. And I was like, crazy, this is frightening, you know. I thought, somebody's coming in my home while I'm sleeping. And somebody's coming in my home while I'm going out. I've got people standing outside on the main road whenever I go out as lookouts for whoever's coming in my house while I'm going out. These people have modified bathroom windows so that they don't close properly, so they can come and go when they like. And I can't believe it's happening. And it's actually just been very, very hard for me to get my head around. I found it very traumatizing. And I want to talk about that. Being frightened in your own home, not having a place of safety, but also your house is now turned into a torture place where people have come in and modified and added wiring to your home. And I'm not the only one who said this. There's many other targeted individuals who say they've seen the extra wiring. And I know that somebody's put a network on my plug sockets because I've got network extenders that I've plugged in, and they already had 2 bars of 3 bars on. So all I had to do was plug in a computer and I'd have internet. But it wasn't my internet, it's some other internet, because I hadn't plugged them into the router. So we've got someone with a home network connected to my electricity. And when I put the TV on, it's like I might as well just be broadcasting what I'm watching to my neighbors. I can't listen to the radio in my home either. When I do, my neighbors all listen to the same radio station to synchronize it all. It's creepy. It's frightening, it is. I put Radio 2 on, they've got Radio 2 on. Classic FM, they've got Classic FM. I turn all my power off, I go to bed, I'm lying in bed, and I can hear Classic FM. Very distant. I got neighbors who haven't got a TV, but they've got a TV synchronized to my TV. Creepy. Very frightening. And then we've got the sound of doors being unlocked and things. And, this kind of thing while you're sleeping. Banging on doors at 3 o'clock in the morning. Our door entry system doesn't work anymore because these guys have interfered with it through the electrics because it's got a SIM card. God. And basically, I've ordered about £100 worth of things from eBay, and I haven't got any of them. And that's because they just can't deliver to me. Because I haven't got a doorbell that works properly. I've bought a new doorbell, but they've synchronized everything to this new doorbell. I can't use my own SIM card, or they'll take over every email account or anything to do with that telephone number. As soon as I put the SIM card in the phone, my phone suddenly wants to connect up with loads of other networks. But it's okay as long as I use another SIM card for a different new number. So it's get a new phone and it's auto connect, ask to join, Bluetooth is on, and they're in the phone. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I want to talk about every element of that when you're being hacked and you're being stalked, because also your cars get vandalized and they synchronize everything to your radio, Bluetooth radio. So like I bought a new radio for my car because the radio wouldn't work. They always mess with the radio, and that radio won't work. Even digital radio won't work. Nothing. In my house, to get a radio signal, I've actually got to point the aerial inside the house because my neighbors have pointed something at the house that blocks the signals of radio waves, or their waves are interfering with the radio waves. And the same with the TV. When I had an aerial to try and set up the TV, I had to put it deep into the wall on top of bookshelves behind the books to get a TV signal. If I put it by the window where you would think, oh, I'm going to get a good radio signal, immediately it wouldn't work. So I got a DVD player. I thought, well, I'll watch DVDs then. These people keep messing with everything. So what they did was they made it so the floor vibrated so that the DVD would jump. I thought, oh yeah, you did this at the other house. Because if I played music CDs, because I tried that at the other house, then they'd make the CD player jump up and down, and then it would skip songs and jump around and everything, and it breaks the machine. So we've had that as well. You know, basically what I think they've done is they've taken out the wire that connects to the electric box for, let's say, one of the circuits. And then they've attached some other wiring to that wiring and attached their new wiring to the circuit. Yeah, that way they can extend it. And they really like to do things in the bathrooms, and they create what seems to be like a vibrating noise, humming, and things like that. Now, I don't know if you know what it's like, but when you're trying to sleep, it's actually really hard to sleep when the fan is on and when there's a machine running like behind your head, right? So it's also really hard to sleep when the lights are on and it's really bright. And it's also quite hard to sleep when you've got ringing in your ears. Or I don't know if you've ever tried to sleep with fire alarms on, but that's also difficult. So the ringing in the ears is through the fire alarms. It's the same sound, but a lower frequency. The sound that I had by my bed was the sound of the boiler. And what I've worked out is the cooker has a fan with a hole. The dimension of the tube that comes out of a boiler. And I believe they've convinced the fan that it's a boiler. And then they've also connected up with the gas supply underneath the hob for their control of this. And I've noticed that basically I've disconnected or found a way to not use three of the tops for the cooker, only use one to try and minimize what they're doing. And then when I try and use it, it won't switch on because there's no gas coming in because somebody's taken over the gas supply. And these are things I'm not imagining. And then there's the washing machine. I'll be lying in bed and there's a washing machine vibrating under my bed. And I'm like, oh, what's that? You know, it's horrible, it is. So I'll come downstairs and the washing machine isn't on. It's not plugged in. But if you put your ear right up to the very back of it, you can hear the washing machine going. And it's doing a full-on cycle. And what they've done is they've run a wire up the wall with a microphone and a speaker and an amplifier. And this is the battery type thing that I saw Simon from Applebee's putting at the very corner of the front of my property when they put in the new fascias at the front and they had all the scaffolding around. when they were disassembling windows of mine, I think, so that they could take the windows off the hinges from the properties below just with a ladder, and then they could just pop themselves in anytime they liked into the property. And when he was putting this battery thing in, he really didn't care that I saw either. And it was about the size of a battery, but I believe it was I thought it was black and red, this thing. And yeah, I suppose it could have been a battery. I mean, my neighbours kept having people from solar companies popping over. Maybe it was a solar thing, connecting with solar, I don't know. But I did have a solar business some years ago, and I noticed that a lot of the people involved in the solar industry are very unsavory, very much involved in crime and drugs, because it's big bucks. It's really big bucks, and it's a very niche industry, and it's a bit like a gangster type of organization, where if you start a solar business and you're not part of the gang, then they'll take you out. But like drug dealers, And I think that's probably where my problem started in 2015. But the other thing I want to bring up is, if you've ever been on TV, then this also connects with TV, because I went on a Come Dine With Me show in 2015, and this all got aired was much later, I think the following year, but just before the filming started, the hacking started on the 3rd of February 2015. How do I know the dates? Because I went through the computers and I was able to locate all of the things that were going on, the times. And basically they had one of the computers in the office mirroring everything going on in my estate agent to somewhere outside. And then my solar business, everybody involved who worked for me, suddenly they were doing telesales, not for me, but for someone else who'd taken over my organization and stole all the data. And the police wouldn't do anything about that either. Again, very unsavory characters in the solar industry. So, if you think about it, solar, electricity, fuel, it's all the same, isn't it? Very much druggy type cartels, shipping, transportation. And I've also found this is all connected with holiday lets. And I think this is their way of recruiting in new victims. Sorry to tell you, but anybody who stays in a bed and breakfast or Airbnb, you should be very careful using Wi-Fi, because this all started at a property run for Airbnbs with new occupiers who, are the perpetrators of the crimes against me, right? So they put their money into the holiday let industry, and it's a bit like Bates Hotel. Did you watch Bates Hotel? Or Psycho? Basically, Bates Hotel, they'd fitted cameras, and he was able to watch them while they were sleeping, while they were doing things in bed, while they were dressing, while they were showering. He had double mirrors, and he got a kick out of it. Now, imagine you've got a whole crime syndicate doing this, and you're putting this all on the dark web. And you're earning big bucks out of it. Yeah. And then, they go, maybe they're in a red room And they're going, oh, this is a really nice girl. Look at her. She's long blonde hair, blue eyes, preacher. Really? Oh, wow. Yeah, let's fuck her life up. Put her on the dark web and let's destroy the woman. And we'll earn big bucks out of that. But it could happen to your daughter or your mother or your sister or your cousin who goes on holiday to one of these places. Because these guys that have done this to me are experts in the criminal field of what they're doing. They are fully trained and qualified in the criminal world of hacking, stalking, home invasions, vandalizing, torturing, new plumbing, interfering with the water supply to put the nano inside, masquerading as nice people, very good actors, making out that you're crazy, pouncing on any visitors that you have so that no one's there for you, convincing them that you're mad, or buying them off, paying them off. It's highly organized. And so they'll do whatever they have to do to protect the asset. And if you ever watched The Island, this guy referred it to the people that were clones as product. And so if you're a targeted individual, then you're product. You're an asset. You're a commodity. And they're making a lot of money out of the footage, watching, stalking, harassing, stalking, and making you out to be crazy and paying off people because they're making so much money, you see. So they can pay off people to turn a blind eye, to participate, to get a gift card. And this is how it's conducted. But the main operation is run through Airbnbs, hotels, bed and breakfasts. Okay? This is what I understand. And they traffic people in the same properties that they do this. So if you go on holiday and they take a shine to you and you look nice, the next thing you know, they could be popping to your house because they've got on their Wi-Fi, they're watching everything. Wireshark's on there. These have cameras everywhere, so they're watching you every time, eh? And then they're in your phone, and they're in your life, and you've got Psycho film, the Bates Hotel, literally chopping people up to order. Oh dear. In the Bates Hotel, the boy kept killing people and the mother would cover up all the crimes, It's like that. It really is. It's like a movie. It's frightening, it is. And you get to the point where you're frightened, actually, of what's going to happen next. You're frightened to go to bed. You're frightened to go out of your house. You're frightened to stay home. It's just madness. And they interfere with all relationships as well. They pay off people to turn a blind eye and participate in it. But this is all the hotels, Airbnbs, bed and breakfasts. Those are all areas that you need to be really careful of. If you're a woman on your own, if you're a couple, if you're going to ever use someone's Wi-Fi, you can get into a whole world and fuck it right up. I think about the people who stayed at the Airbnb where I used to live. I really do. And I wonder, I'd love to be a fly on the wall before they stay there and after they stay there, because I know what this place is, right? I'm like, wow, that's so frightening, right? Because if it happened to me, and these guys are experts, qualified, these are fully qualified people. There's designated people for the plumbing. There's designated people for the ringing. There's designated people for the wiring. There's designated people for all the spiel. I'd see them meeting every week at Applebee's. One of them even waved at me. He knew I was looking at him. And he was at Applebee's, and from Vernon Court, it's quite a far distance, but you can't see into Applebee's garden. And Simon, who worked at Applebee's, was wearing a yellow coat. And I can tell you, I was absolutely fucking petrified and frightened. And he went up to his friends who were all wearing yellow coats, sitting at Applebee's. And as he went over, he looked up at me in the window and waved at me. And I had my binoculars to see him. And so what he was saying was, I can see you. Hi, I'm stalking you. I know that you're looking at me because there must have been cameras in my house for him to know that I was watching him, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and then he shook hands with these other guys, and then they all looked at me, and they all waved at me, and I was absolutely fucking petrified. I thought, fucking hell, excuse my French. I thought, these people, they're so dangerous. And like I say, I think about the people who stay there. And I wonder about why they get away with these crimes. And the only conclusion I can come up with is that they're connected with the criminals. And this is child eating, blood drinking, psychopaths, pedophiles, kiddie fiddlers, drug growers, and they connect right up at the top with the Masons. I can tell you that I've had drones flying around at the old house too. You couldn't even see in from the front because it overlooked the sea, and I would see these drones, and it would always come by the window, and then I'd see the drone going down, and there was a guy there, grey hair, picking up his drone and putting it in a bag. And I thought it looked like Dave Watts from Watt & Co. Accountants, you know. And, but I wasn't sure. But I know that Dave Watts has got drones and all that because he does podcasts now and he does a broadcasting station or whatever. And he's into all of that kind of stuff. And he's also not my friend. And he doesn't like me very much. And he's a Mason. So... and he's an accountant, and he's the accountant of all the people who've perpetrated the crimes against me. So I thought it was very interesting. Maybe it was Dave Watts from Watt & Co. Accountants. Or maybe it wasn't. But I would get my binoculars out, and I'd just go, oh, and see where this goes, and see who gets it. And this happened more than once, but 3 or 4 times. And I thought, you're flying this little thing right by my window, and it's quite intimidating because it's very high up, and because you want to have a look in my house, right? I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to find out who you are. So I watched it. But again, if you're under this attack full time, it's very hard to defend yourself against it and, get any help. All I've done is I've actually built little things to try and help me against the torturing, the running of the currents and the electricity under the floorboards. Again, I couldn't stop that at the old house, but there were flats underneath me. All the plumbing was connected and it would all go crazy. And it was, pretty damn fucking frightening. That's all I can say. And I'm still going through it. But I believe it is my duty to warn others, since the police refuse to take me seriously and take the matter further. I have a duty of care to other people, residents of Torquay, and visitors, to warn them of my experiences, and that this could happen to you as well. Because if it happened to me, it could happen to you. All right. And I can tell you, I'm not frightened of much, because in South Africa, we had men turning up, women turning up. One lady turned up at the front door one day when my parents had gone out, and I was only about 10, and she had an axe in her head. Okay? So I'm not really frightened of anything. And I've also had it where we've had the people on the farm having a shebeen, and they're literally chopping each other up. Okay? We've had it all. But we did have shotguns there, and rifles, and normal guns as well. And I knew how to use a gun, and I knew where the safe was. So, well, not at 10, but obviously now I do. But I don't have a gun in England to defend myself. And do you have a gun to defend yourself? What would you do if this was happening to you? How would you react? And also, would you think that the police would take you seriously? Or, how would you feel when you see the people who did this to you still going around as if nothing ever happened? How would you feel about it? I want to know. Because I, for one, don't like it. I also don't like it that anyone can be paid off and anyone can be involved in this. And it's a whole set of crimes. It's home invasions. That's one crime in its own right, and that's damn fucking scary. If you've ever watched the home invasion movies where they get invaded and they get held hostage. But imagine somebody coming in and out of your house all night, every day. Imagine every time you go out, you get home invasions. People climbing on your roof, ladders on the roof, ladders on the side of the building. No one will listen. Everybody says you're crazy, but it's happening to you. You're being hacked. You're being stalked. Your electrics playing up. Your plumbing plays up. Everything plays up. Your neighbors are pointing lights at you, and you're getting a sore back. But when you put a mirror up facing that light, the backache goes. So you go, I wonder if it's the light. I think it's the light. And you're sitting there next night, and your backache returns. I bet that light's back on. Sure enough, that light's back on. Let me go upstairs and put a mirror up and face the mirror towards the neighbor's light, and find out if my backache goes. Come back down and say, my backache's gone. That's nice. Yay. And then when you also find in one of the properties right next to yours, little blue, spongy, very hard things that have been used to prop something up against the window in the frame itself. And you're like, wonder what they were doing. And when the fire alarms keep going off, and when you do have a doorbell, the doorbell goes all night. Bing bong. Imagine, it's frightening, it is. And I want to talk about it. This is Torquay, and it's a holiday place. And, it's a place of horrors. It really is. It's the 7 hills of torment, horror, the Hills of Eyes, Chainsaw Massacre, Hostel, and the rest. But I'm saying all this with a smile on my face because I know God will give me justice. And I know God will give me vengeance against these perpetrators of such terrible crimes. And I know that people who listen to me believe me. Because I serve God, I'm not a liar. And I've got videos and all sorts of things all over the place. Interviewed dozens and dozens of people. And these crimes can't be all imaginary, schizophrenic things, right? Yeah. All right then. So I will upload the footage at the beginning of this video, and you can see. All right. Hope you have an amazing day. It's Ayesha from godfm. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as godfm news, godfm new, godfm radio, godfm group, and godfm media. You can email us admin@godfm.uk, or you can find us on our website godfm.xyz or godfm6.godaddywebsites.com, and you can WhatsApp me +44 777 777 but I'm probably coming off WhatsApp because of all the links and the photos and the images and all the other bits and pieces. All right, so if you can't reach me on WhatsApp, that might be why. All right, but you can always email. All right, have an amazing day. It's Ayesha from godfm. Take care.